This video is sponsored by Movie Palette. Stay tuned to see how you can get 15% off yours. It's pretty cool, so stay tuned. So I just watched the superior version of Pinocchio, aka Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and it's pretty good. So let's talk about the things that you already know just based off the trailer. The animation is absolutely stunning. In terms of animation, just visually, absolutely one of the best of the year. If we remove animation and just put films in general, it's still one of the most stunning films I've seen this year. Well, I feel like I just repeated a lot of the same words, like I'm trying to get a word count up, but whatever, I'll keep it in. There's so many scenes where I'm just like, God damn, they're just like flexing right now. Like it's so vibrant when it needs to be, and then so gloomy when it needs to be. And honestly, stop motion just hits differently when you're looking at it. And the settings, the background, the production design, I mean, it's almost as gorgeous as my girlfriend, #boyfriend points. But let's be real, you already know that. You know that the craft has so much care and love into it, which everyone's talking about, and you have to appreciate that. And you see it pretty much every second you see on screen. And to the movie's credit, it does change up some things about Pinocchio. As I'm sure most of you know, it's set in fascist Italy with the rise of Mussolini. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the Disney one. So it definitely is a much darker retelling of the story while still kind of having those core elements. There's original songs in there that I'm sure you've heard of already. There's still that same themes of grief and loss that are driven home beautifully. And I appreciate all of those. And while I don't want anyone to kind of misconstrue my opinions on this movie, because I know a negative kind of speaks more loudly than a positive, so I like this movie. I think it's gorgeous. It's gonna win animated feature like hands down. But I gotta be honest, I think I just don't care for the Pinocchio story that much. Even with all those changes that I mentioned, which I do appreciate, and I really do, there's still those core story beats of Pinocchio in this movie. And like, of course there is. I'm not using that to knock this movie. But because of that, even though there are some new things in here about, you know, fascist Italy, it's a much darker tale, kind of about religion, more into it. Even though we're going through all these detours of Pinocchio, I know that eventually it's going to come right back around to the story that I already know. Now, is that a criticism of the movie? Not really, maybe not. I'm more so just stating how I felt watching it, because I know a lot of people won't really care and they'll just kind of watch it anyways. But I couldn't really shake the fact that I kind of knew where this was going, and I knew that even though we're in here, eventually we're going to go here because we haven't hit that point yet. Then even though we're at here, eventually we're going to hit this point yet because we haven't hit it yet. It's kind of one of those deals. So in turn, it kind of made some scenes feel a little bit hollow. And I will say I did watch the Robert Zemeckis version of Pinocchio this year when it came out. So honestly, maybe that kind of fucked with me. And I should also mention that the voice acting is great. The voice, no complaints from anyone. Ewan McGregor as Sebastian, the little cricket, yeah, fire. Geppetto, fire. Also, just great. And there are so many scenes of that's very warm and touching. And, you know, I'm sure, as people said, I'm sure it'll make some people cry. Because I'm in a weird situation where I like this movie. I do. I love the craft and the attention to detail. Everything from a tech category I really love on one hand. And then on the other hand, I'm kind of like, this should be the last Pinocchio story that mainstream Hollywood ever does, because it has gotten out of hand. But the biggest compliment I can pay this movie outside of its animation is that I truly feel that the original 1940s Pinocchio and this one should be the Pinocchio stories that we use to tell. Those are the only two you will ever need. Sorry to Robert Zemeckis and whatever the fuck this was. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, 3.5 stars. As far as Oscars go, I have to be, you can't be biased here, even though I might not have overwhelmingly loved it as much as I know some other people do. There's still a great path here for picture. I don't know if I will jump right in to putting it in, but there's still a great path because it can get production design. It's going to win animated feature. It could get adapted screenplay. You could get original song. You could get visual effects. There's honestly a lot of places where it can get nominations. And the fact that Guillermo del Toro is campaigning, and the fact that just him being himself is enough for a campaign because he's so charming and he's such like a fighter for cinema, you know what I mean? It could really happen. But if you love, Pinocchio and those other Disney movies, really, you should go to Movie Palette. You've probably seen these because they're around on social media a lot, actually, but goddamn, look at it. It looks fucking beautiful. So what Movie Palette does is they'll go through each scene in a movie and they'll extract the main color from that scene. And it's in chronological order. So it'll go from left to right. And it'll create some beautiful ass images. This one here is Ratatouille. Because one, I love Ratatouille, but also it just looks amazing and it can match like all the furniture. It's a nice little neutral colors. You can see they have so many. And if you want to get 15% off on top of their sale that's actually going on right now, enter the code FilmDrunk15 for 15% off. You won't regret it. It's fire. Thank you to those at Movie Palette. I really appreciate it. I mean, I genuinely like this product, so y'all should go do it. Really out here making moves. Let's go.